as Sombra. People that play against the Sombra don't like Sombra. People that play with Sombra don't like Sombra. And people that play Sombra like that those two don't like Sombra. Sombra is kind of back where we were right before the rework. She's not even that interesting anymore in her current form, which says a lot because playing Sombra in top 500 when even Fitzy here didn't want to play the game back in Season 2. So now that I'm tapped out, we kind of have to ask ourselves, what's the point? To underwear this, that's autocorrect, my bad. To understand this, first we answer why, and that begins with her rework. Sombra was bad, like in a numbers kind of way. To compensate for this, the gameplay loop for her boiled down to trying the same thing over and over again until the enemy team had no resources left to deal with her coming back. This meant that people put her translocator on a health pack and just teleported to it every time they're about to die. So because of this, most of the community in Overwatch said that her translocator was the reason for her being bad for the game, saying it was a get out of jail free card.
And I mean, it's not like any other heroes in the game have that at all. I mean,
so they did something about it. I mean, without counterbuff, she would just be less of a character, so they had to make her engagements more worthwhile. To go from having to eventually get the kill to when you engage that you can get the kill. So they made her translocator into the Minecraft Ender Pearl and the community rejoiced. Developers slapped on this thing called Virus and her gameplay loop pretty much boiled down to a do or die type style. The community is happy because the developers listened, except Sombra is now even more of a pub stomper than before while being terrible in high ranks. The balance in Sombra's gameplay loop relied on her being weak to allow her to come back over and over again. It's because she wasn't really that harmful that it was okay for her to have a get out of jail free card. So take that get out of jail free card and now you're forced into a position that you have to make her more lethal. Virus as an ability has one real purpose. It acts as the little mini game you have to play as the Sombra to throw away your element of surprise to be allowed, in an ethical sense, to do damage. The person you're diving gets the chance to react and dodge, and if they do, the Sombra has a heavy disadvantage. In my genuine, honest opinion, this is a really clever way to go about it if you really needed stealth to be permanent. The problem starts when permanent invisibility gets included, because doing burst damage as a damage hero isn't something too spooky. It's that her burst damage can come at any point, from anywhere, with absolutely no warning. But the community wanted the translocator gone, so hey, you can't say they didn't listen. If only someone said this beforehand, maybe even years before, that would be so funny. If that someone would be making a very petty I told you so video. Ha, yeah. At first, it was cool. A little cube you tossed around and it did half a health bar over 4 seconds. 90 damage over time and 10 damage on impact. But if you were daring enough to announce your presence by unstealthing and also announcing your exact location with time to spare by hacking, you'd be rewarded 10 extra impact damage. And that 90 over 4 seconds would be compressed to 2 seconds. And for a while, that was really cool. The only thing that could go wrong is that people started hitting too many cubes. So people start hitting too many cubes, and too many people got too consistently good with it, which forced the developers to emphasize the hacking before cubing via the come on, I know you wanna, you'll do 25 extra impact. No, 35 method of haggling. I mean balancing. Haggling their way up to make more people force themselves into missing cubes. Higher risk, higher reward. But we still had options. We could still play to build our ultimate up or to pick people off from the sides. Anyone in the enemy team slightly dragging behind could be pulled away and taken out like a pack of zebras running from a lion. We could choose to play for lower risk and play around the lower reward. But then they made her health 225 and introduced wave respawn, so like fuck us, I guess. Now our only option is to go for the least risky kills by waiting for the perfect moment to go for a hack and cube. Only that wasn't okay either because now they nerfed the damage of the cube's overtime damage, so now if you don't hack, you actually do less damage than when Sombra had 250 health and wave respawn didn't exist. All this to say, Sombra just isn't good. To play her doesn't feel good, and to play against feels one-sided. She was fun. Balance patch after balance patch forced her into caring only about burst damage, and then they took out the damage. I have multiple thousands of hours on her, and these days I can't help wonder why I'm not just playing any other hero instead. So what's left? Well, now I welcome you to the Headcanon Workshop where I list my unsolicited opinion. My credentials include a high school diploma diploma, and well, that's really it. So take what I say with a grain of whatever you want to have a singular grain of. I say put stealth on a timer, at best 10 seconds. Make it have a threshold before it can completely de-stealth you of like 10 damage. Then, because the Sombra is forced to play with the cards she's dealt on any given engagement, instead of just waiting for the perfect moment, you can completely take Virus out of her kit and buff her raw damage a little. You could make the spread a bit bigger. You could make the hack lockout duration double, and then for balance patches onward, have the translocator be the first thing in line to be buffed as the central point of balance for her, with the intent to keep it as the Swiss Army knife for mobility options with the amount of different use cases on one cooldown. I have a video about this that goes over this. It's a little bit outdated, but it does get the point across. But all that being said, I'm only putting this section in the video because I know I'll get comments asking for my opinion on what should happen to her. So, checkmate, I win. Haha, follow me on Twitch. Bye now. Bye now. Subscribe and like. Bye. Share it on Reddit. That too. That's important. Bye now. Bye.